Hey everyone, what up? Matt Kaiser here. Now when it comes to what many consider to be the best JRPG out there, it would undoubtedly be Chrono Trigger as your first answer. And honestly, that says a lot as that game has got lots of praise from its amazing, well-paced and simple and enjoyable story, to its well-rounded cast of characters, to its amazing combat with a whole dual tech and triple tech system, refining the classic A to B system that past Final Fantasy had, as well as also having a wonderful soundtrack and a timeless art style thanks to the late and great Akira Toriyama contributing to the character designs, and this being pretty much a passion project by having the dream team of Square devs like from Hironobu Sakaguchi from Final Fantasy fame to Yuji Horii from Dragon Quest fame, and as aforementioned, the late and great Akira Toriyama, who worked obviously on Dragon Ball, as well as the character designs for both Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest. So all in all, it is a great game. However, despite being a very great game, there's little to actually play about it as Square hasn't done a lot for the series, despite obviously doing a sequel, Chrono Cross, which for many is a mixed bag depending on who you talk to, but more importantly, as it stands right now, Chrono Trigger is currently stuck, especially on the modern sense, on both PC and mobile, which is an absolute shame. However, we got an announcement not too long ago that might change some things and probably give us hope that Chrono Trigger might be coming to consoles. But before we begin, if you like what you're seeing there, then by all means, like the video, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and hit the bell notification icon if you want more JRPG content, Sonic content, Warriors content, and action game content. And with that, let's get back to the video. So, not too long ago, Square Enix just announced that today is the 30th anniversary of Chrono Trigger, and they publicly celebrated the fact that it's now 30 years, which is absolutely cool. I'm glad that they have officially acknowledged it in some capacity. However, thanks to Genki here on Twitter, he translated saying that Square Enix announced that over the next year, they'll be launching various Chrono Trigger projects that go beyond the world of the game. And we've seen here also that after this, that he's also reported that Chrono Trigger on mobile has now shot up to number 4 on the App Store in Japan on its 50th anniversary. And he also says that I can't believe this game is still not playable on modern consoles. And I heavily agree. I mean, still a damn shame that out of all the Square Enix games we have, lots of them that even came to consoles recently via remasters and remakes, Chrono Trigger is definitely not one of them, as the only access to it currently is from the Super Famicom and PS1 version, though getting a good copy of it now is going to be hella expensive, as well as also the 3DS version. But sadly, given the fact that Nintendo shut down the 3DS store, getting a digital copy is non-existent, and even trying to find a good copy of it now I think is also very rare. But not only that, but having it not on modern consoles is still a shame. Like, it's still available on PC via Steam and mobile, with the PC port being relatively okay. I mean, back a while ago when it was launched there, it wasn't the greatest, but now to see if it's a bit improved is okay. But still, well, obviously not being on PlayStation, Xbox, or even the Nintendo Switch is just an absolute shame. I don't know why Square Enix are, wasting money on some other projects that some may not even care about, when they could be, putting more money on things that people actually want. However, this Chrono Trigger 50th anniversary does give a little bit of hope here. Now, one of the first projects for Chrono Trigger's 50th anniversary is from the Square Enix music channel, as they'll be live streaming related songs for 2 days starting March 14th. And obviously that's pretty cool, as Chrono Trigger's soundtrack is immaculate, obviously being done by Yasunori Mitsuda, who worked so hard that he even fell ill and had the legendary Nobuo Uematsu take over to perform other amazing songs in that game as well. But yeah, overall, what do I think about it? Now, obviously people are clamoring on about what this game could have. And actually, in a recent interview, last year, around February I would say, We even had an interview with Yoshinori Kitase, where he even asked podcast host Simon Parkin on what will be the best way for Chrono Trigger to be presented to players today: a port, a graphical remaster, or a remake like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Simon answered that he liked what Nintendo did with Link's Awakening, and Kitase said thanks for the great input. Well, say what you will about that. I mean, keep that in mind, as that might not mean much, given the fact that, well, Kitase does get talked into a lot of things, like say, what about the Final Fantasy VI Remake like Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's saying that could take like 20 years from now to be done in that style. Or what's the deal with the Final Fantasy VIII Remake? I mean, lots of things that he's getting asked for. He can only just give his personal feelings about it and what the current situation is, as obviously he's a busy man. Obviously, he, as well as also Nomura, as well as Naoki Hamaguchi and Momoto Toriyama, they're obviously finishing up with the Final Fantasy VII Remake re-trilogy thing that should be wrapping up sometime around maybe 2027. But all in all, obviously, what are we gonna give our thoughts about this? Now let's go on to what this could mean. Like, could Chrono Trigger 30th anniversary be the time where we finally get some form of, game related to Chrono Trigger on modern consoles? Like, let's say, a port of the remaster, a pixel remaster like the Final Fantasy ones, a full-on remake that's either HD 2D like say Octopath, Dragon Quest III, Live Alive, Triangle Strategy, or some kind of 3D remake that's sort of visually similar to like say Dragon Quest XI, games like say Trials of Mana, Romancing Saga 2, and Super Mario RPG were handled. Now obviously there's lots to discuss about that, and I know people have their preferences of how they want Chrono Trigger to come on modern consoles, but for me, if I had to pick either of the two safely, and I think that would do relatively well, I would have to go with either an HD 2D remake in its own style obviously, or even maybe like a 3D remake of some kind with Dragon Quest 11-ish, Super Mario RPG, Trials of Mana, Romancing Saga 2, that sort of smaller scale sort of remake that's not, visually and, costly expensive as like say Final Fantasy VII Remake is. But yeah, that's what I definitely think about that. I would honestly would like to see either one of those two options be possible, as obviously I do think that obviously Chrono Trigger does deserve, the best treatment possible. It deserves to be on modern consoles, and I do hope that Square Enix really locks in with its 50th anniversary and doesn't make something as disastrous as like say the Persona 25th anniversary, where that was just poorly paced and mostly just came around like with merch announcements, and the only good things that came out of it really was just the ports of Persona 3, 4, and 5 on other consoles, as well as Persona 4 Reina Ultimax, but we didn't get like the major things like say Persona 3 Reload or even Persona 6. I think that having more good anniversaries to follow example like the Final Fantasy VII like the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary, the Dragon Quest 35th anniversary, and even the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary is the way to go. So I do hope that Square locks in and delivers a worthwhile announcement within the 50th anniversary of Chrono Trigger. They definitely need a win here, absolute major win here. And also, we can't even forget that they even just ported Chrono Cross about roughly 3 years ago, and obviously, say what you will about how that was, obviously it wasn't a great remaster on launch as it had performance issues that only got patched a year after its release. I do think that with a Chrono Trigger, like say a remaster, or actually no, a better yet a remake, would do well. I mean, as mentioned, the HD2D remakes, as we've seen, they financially did well. Like Octopath Traveler series has sold 3 million, Dragon Quest III HD2D Remake has sold 2 million, and even surpassed Square Enix expectations, which is a nice good thing. And then we also have Triangle Strategy selling 1 million and Live Alive Remake selling around 500,000 units. And heck, Nintendo themselves were the ones who wanted Square Enix to remake Live Alive, so would it be cool if Nintendo got some way to tell Square Enix to, remake Chrono Trigger? But that'll be it for me. That is my thoughts here. I do have a little bit of hope that Square Enix actually locks in and does, whatever they can to put Chrono Trigger on modern consoles and have, being the best version possible so no one can be left out and enjoy on what is a very, very great game. Like, honestly, it's one of the best JRPGs out there. Like, I absolutely love it, especially someone who played it 2 years ago. And honestly, I do think that this game should be on like modern consoles. It should be on PlayStation, it should be on Xbox, it should be on Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. So hopefully we do get an announcement too at some point, maybe either at the Switch 2 Direct that's coming in a month, or even sometime in the near future. But that'll be it for me. Let me know down in the comments of what you think about this whole Chrono Trigger 50th anniversary. Are you looking forward to what they have announced? Do you hope to see Chrono Trigger come to modern consoles in some particular form? And let me know down in the comments of how you want to see Chrono Trigger come to modern consoles, whether it's either a port, a remaster, or a remake. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. Until then, Mad Kaiser out.